Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. This video is part of the YouTube series that I'm making called Zero to Hero Business Central. In this series, I already uploaded few videos on my YouTube channel. In this particular video, we are going to learn about try functions in Business Central. So let us actually first understand what is the definition of try functions. Try methods in AL enable you to handle errors that occur in the application during the code execution. For example, let us say you might be writing some code in AL and okay, this particular line of code can give me an error. Then you can use try methods to actually catch those errors and give some user friendly error message to the users. For example, with try methods, you can provide more user friendly messages to the end user than errors thrown by the system. So let's say some error is thrown by the system, but you feel okay, this error message might not be clear. Then you can actually catch that particular error, and then you can actually give your own error message whenever that particular error message occurs. Also, here you can see we should not include any write transactions in try method. If try method contains a write transaction, a runtime error will occur. So basically it is saying that we should not have any write transaction. That means we cannot do modify, we cannot do insert. Basically we cannot actually do the data change transactions. Like if I am writing something to the database, that is a write transaction. Like for example, if I'm doing the modify or if I'm doing the insert, at that time a write transaction will be done. So those kind of write transactions we need to avoid in try functions. So let me first go to my business central. In here, let me do the refresh first and let me do the login, and let me actually navigate to my employee page, which is basically employee list. So we have developed this particular page in our previous videos in this particular series. If you haven't watched those videos, you can find them on my YouTube channel in this series called Zero to Hero Business Central. So basically what we are going to do is we are going to create one action button called try functions, and we are going to write all the logic related to try functions in that particular action button. So let me actually go to my Visual Studio Code. In here you can see we have employee operations code unit. We have a lot of tables and a lot of pages, but do not worry about them. We basically going to go to employee table, and we have to navigate to our employee page, which is our employee list. If I go in, if I go to the beginning, in here you can see this is the employee list page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add an action button in this particular employee list page. So let me go to my actions. In here you can see there are a couple of actions, but I'm going to create the action, the area processing. So let me just create the action. Let me just use t action, and let me say this as called try function. And let me actually copy this particular code because we are going to create our try function inside the employee operations code unit. So let me actually go to employee operations code unit, and let me actually create one function. This function will be a general function. This is not going to be a try function, but inside this function we are going to call our try function. So let me just call the procedure as internal procedure. Let's say call try function, and let me just do begin and end. And let me actually call this procedure from our employee page. So let me navigate to employee page. Let me use employee operations dot call try function. So let me do this, and now let me go in here. First, let us actually take this basic salary of the current record, whichever record is chosen, and actually develop the logic around this basic salary. So let me go in here. Let me actually pass the rec as a parameter to this try function. So let me go to this one, and let me actually take the employee table as a parameter. So record employee table, and in here let me actually create one function. So this function or procedure is going to be the try function. So let me just create try function, and let me again call this as internal procedure. Let's say this as check uh, basic salary less than, let's say, 20, less than 20, and let me just do begin and end, and let me actually create one more procedure. Again, this is going to be decorated with try function. So this, basically, this is called as an attribute. So if you mention this particular attribute on a procedure, then that becomes a try function. Specifies the method to be try method, which can be used to catch and handle errors and exceptions that occur. So we're going to go with two procedures which are try functions. So let me say 30, and let me actually call these procedures from here. So let's say this, and let me also actually call this procedure as well from here, and let me actually pass this as a parameter. So let me just take this, pass it over here, pass it over here as well, and let me actually copy this, and let me put it over here, and let me put it over here. Now let us actually write the code or logic that is around basic salary. So let me go in here. I wanted to give an error message to the user saying like if the basic salary is lesser than 20, or if the basic salary is lesser than 30, sorry. If the basic salary is lesser than 20, I am going to give the error message over here. So let me just do employee table and basic salary. If it is lesser than 20, then I'm going to do begin and end, and let me just do the error. The basic salary is less than 20, and let me actually do the begin and end. Let me actually write the logic here as well, the same logic, but let me just do this as 30, and let me say it as 30. And now actually these are try functions, but we are calling them like a normal function, like how we call any other procedure or function. We're just calling them like that. But you see, try functions actually return either true or false values. Like for example, if an error occurs in this particular procedure, it is going to return false value. If no error occurs, it is going to return a true value. So we can actually take that true or false values over here. So let me actually do one thing. Let me just say if and then, and let me actually do here also if and then. Now I'm going to actually write the logic over here. Let me actually take one text type. So let me say error text, and let me take it as text. Now what I'm going to do is, if the error occurs in this particular procedure, I'm going to cache that over here. So if the error occurs, basically try function will return false value. So yeah, if I have to cache that, I have to do if not. So I can go inside this, and in here what I'm going to do is error text equals to error text plus get last error text. And what I'm going to do also here, the same thing. So basically what I'm trying to do over here is, let me add not, I'm basically calling these two try functions, and in here you can see it is going to give us an error if the basic salary is less than 20. Here it is going to give us an error if the basic salary is less than 30. What I'm actually doing is, if the basic salary is less than 20, I'm actually going to go inside this particular condition. I'm actually going to execute this particular code. And if the basic salary is less than 30, again we are going to execute this particular line of code. So let us actually see that in action in the UI itself by actually publishing this to the UI. So let me go in here, let me do one thing. Let's just say uh, error, and let me just do the error text. So now let me publish this and let us see how that actually looks in the UI itself. So now it is published. So let me go to my Business Central. Let me refresh this once. And now let me actually, I am particularly on this particular record, which is with the employee ID 10. And here you can see basic salary is 10. In here you can see these two procedures are going to be get executed because our basic salary is 10, but that is already less than 20 and less than 30. So the error message that we should get is the basic salary is less than 20 and the basic salary is less than 30. So let me actually click on this call try functions, and in here you can see the basic salary is less than 20 and the basic salary is less than 30. So basically what we did is we combined two errors and showed them as a single error. So in here, firstly, we are calling this particular procedure, which is a try function. So the basic salary 10 is less than 20. So system is going to throw this particular error. Once the error occurred, this procedure is going to return false. So false here, but the not of false is true. So it is going to execute this particular line of code. So the error text becomes the basic salary less than 20. And once this particular line of code executed, it is going to again execute this line of code. Here we are basically again sending the same employee table as a record, and in here we are again checking the basic salary is less than 30. So 10 is also less than 30. So in here it is again going to be the basic salary is less than 30. But in error text we already have this particular text, so it is going to concatenate with that particular error message and show us as one error message. Now let us actually do one thing. Let me go in here. Let me actually make this basic salary as 25, and then let's click on this call try function and let us see what type of text that we get in the as a error message. So let me just make it 25, and now let me click on this, and now let me click on call try function. Now here you can see the basic salary is less than 30 because first the control comes over here and it is going to go inside this particular procedure and it is going to check if the basic salary is less than 20. 25 is not less than 20. So what it is going to do is it is going to just return as true because there is no error that has occurred in this particular procedure. So it is going to return true, true, and not of true becomes false. So it is not going to actually execute this line of code. But when it comes over here, it is going to check this particular condition. So 25 is actually less than 30. What it is going to do is it is going to say the basic salary is less than 30. So this line of code gets executed and we get only the basic salary is less than 30. So now let us actually see the third scenario. Let me actually put the value 50. At this particular time we shouldn't get any error message. So let me go and click on call try function. You see nothing happens because this error thing does not have any value in the error text, because when the basic salary is 50, this particular code will not get executed, and this particular code also will not get executed because basic salary is not less than 20 and not less than 30. Now actually let us see what does it mean to not include any right transaction. As we have already discussed about this, let us actually see this in code. So basically, again, I'm going to go to my Visual Studio Code. In here, we have our try function. So let me actually do one thing. Let me just write like employee table dot basic salary. Let's just say 45 and 45, and let me just do employee table dot modify. So here basically we are performing a write transaction, that too inside the try function. So firstly it is going to call this particular procedure. So we are calling the call try function from our call try function action button, and in here it is going to call this particular procedure, which is check basic salary less than 20. It is going to actually check if the salary is less than 20. So After that, it is going to actually change this particular basic salary to 45. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this, and let us see. We have to give a value such that this condition does not meet. So let's actually do that in the UI only, and let us see how this employee table dot modify actually gives us an error. So let me go to my business central, let me refresh this once, and let's actually give a value in here. Let me put, let's say, 60. And now let me go in here. Now let me actually call the call try function. Now here you can see the business central completely collapsed because we were actually doing the modify, which is actually not allowed. So if you are actually having these kind of transactions inside the try function, please avoid doing those because it is actually not allowed to do so. So that's all that I have about try functions in business central. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be uploading more videos in this particular series. Along with all the videos, I also planned some assignments for you guys. Along with the videos, you can also do the assignments to actually get the practical knowledge and to do something by yourself without watching these tutorials. Those assignments will be helpful. If you want to support me in this journey of creating a course, that too for free for everyone, you can do that by just subscribing to my channel. Thank you.